What happens when you hire the AAA dev team behind one of the most popular game series in the industry to make a game that'll cash in on an emerging genre? Well, you get one of the biggest flops in gaming history, BattleBorn. BattleBorn was hyped up to be the next big hero shooter, ready to go toe-to-toe with other multiplayer FPS games like Call of Duty. But after its release, the game was hit with roadblock after roadblock, which all quickly led to the game's demise. So what happened to BattleBorn? Before we start, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. I do two main series on this channel, that being this one, the So What Happened series, and Internet Mysteries. The So What Happened series is where I go and take a look at gaming's greatest failures, and Internet Mysteries is where we dive into the deepest corners of the World Wide Web. I also upload individual reviews for games that I really love or really despise, and I try to do big events that involve the community throughout the year. If any of that interests you, then hit subscribe. I also have a second channel where I upload stream highlights, whether it be reactions to stuff or just compilations of funny moments. If that interests you, there's a link in the description to check it out. Oh, I stream on this channel, by the way, so subscribe if you want to see some stuff live. So before we discuss BattleBorn, let's actually discuss its developers. Gearbox Software are mostly known for their work on the Borderlands series, a highly respected franchise in the gaming community for its humor and world building, and it kind of created the genre of looter shooter. BattleBorn was also being published by 2K Games, the publishers behind the 2K Sports series, BioShock, a ton of names. BattleBorn was set to be a multiplayer hero shooter, which was a slowly emerging genre at the time. I think Team Fortress 2 was probably the first big hero shooter, but I like to think that the trend started around the release of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, which was released in 2015. It incorporated elements of MOBAs, which gave the game its own flair compared to other hero shooters. Each character was designed with a different playstyle in mind, from heroes who like to get up close and personal, to heroes who like to stay back and pick off their opponents from a distance. With its unique spin on the multiplayer shooter genre, BattleBorn managed to grasp the interest of many amongst the gaming scene. The game ran multiple betas across multiple platforms, initially starting on PC and then branching out to consoles. However, due to the feedback received from these betas, the game was moved from its initial February 9th, 2016 release date to May 3rd, 2016 to polish the game up. And while this may not seem like a big deal, we should take a look at what else released in May of 2016. Overwatch was Blizzard's newest project, set to release May 24th of 2016. It was everything BattleBorn wanted to be, but better, and it had an even bigger studio behind its development. It was a hero shooter with a diverse cast of characters and swapped out the deep MOBA gameplay elements for simplistic, easy to pick up and play game modes and fast-paced gameplay. Blizzard decided that the depth should be in team composition and map knowledge, and the gameplay should be left simple for new players to jump in easily. It had a better art style and characters with more unique gimmicks to them. It was being developed by one of the biggest studios in the industry too. Overwatch stood an extra 10 feet tall compared to BattleBorn. And after Overwatch's release, BattleBorn's player base dropped drastically not even a month after the game's launch. By July of that year, the PC player count dropped to under 1,000 players, which was a huge drop compared to its initial 12,000 player count around launch. The rest of 2016 for BattleBorn only got darker as the player base dropped further and further as the months passed. They tried to introduce microtransactions and DLC into the game to bring people back, but to nobody's surprise, that didn't work. In a last-ditch effort to save the game, Gearbox gave the game a free trial mode, similar to something like Multiverses, where a rotation of characters were free to play and characters could be unlocked with virtual currency. This also failed to revive the game. Gearbox later announced in September of 2017 that the game would enter maintenance mode, where a skeleton crew of devs would stay with the project to fix any major bugs that would pop up. This would last until January 2021, where the game would shut down its servers entirely. Meanwhile, Overwatch would continue to thrive and live the life that BattleBorn wished it had. Since the failure of BattleBorn, 2K Games has done nothing interesting but repeatedly promised BioShock 4 is on its way and re-release the same shitty basketball game over and over again. I wish I got the chance to play BattleBorn. It seems like a game that had some passion behind it from its developers, but unfortunately, it's just become another record on the list of failed multiplayer games.